Hello and welcome to this afternoon taste challenge. Today, on this very warm 83-degree day, we have two interesting, well, you might question that, two interesting whiskeys. We have Club 400. Club 400 in this beautiful plastic 375 milliliter bottle. Listen to that thud. Not much more appealing than the thud of a plastic bottle, is there? Club 400 was introduced in 1951. And it says Special Reserve. This is the Special Reserve. This is just not Club 400 now. Blended whiskey. This whiskey is 3 years old. Well, the 20% straight whiskey is 3 years old. I don't think the grain neutral spirits are aged. They just distill it and blend it and they bottle it. Blended and bottled by Majestic Distilling Company, Incorporated of Baltimore, Maryland. They're actually in Baltimore County, Maryland, and it may be less than a mile from the actual Baltimore city limits from what I could tell. So they're not technically in Baltimore, Maryland, but they are, for all intents and purposes, in Baltimore, Maryland. Kind of like Sazerac, the company that owns them. They're not based in New Orleans. They're based in Metairie, Louisiana, which is about 2 miles from the New Orleans border where their office is. Okay, maybe it's 3 miles. All right, but anyway, Majestic Distilling, MD, Maryland. Some commentator from the Baltimore area, he told me he had watched the video, and he says it's very common around here. All the liquor stores have Club 400 of any kind of bottle size. I believe that. Well, I bought this in Alabama, and I paid too much because Alabama has totally rip-off liquor taxes. It's like 20% added on. I was like, I'm not paying that. I wanted to buy this, so I'm glad I bought it, but I did not like getting gypped. I defend Alabama in many cases, but not in this case, okay? Majestic Distilling is a famous old company, and this is where Pikesville Rye started. They don't distill anymore at this facility, but they blend and bottle there, okay? All right, so now I was going to show you how I do these blind taste tests. So I have the little tabs that I made. This one says Albertsons, okay? They're real small, and I cut them out. This one says, of course, Club 400. So I'll take a little bit of tape. I'll just cut this in half. I don't need a lot. Tape it onto the bottom of the D'Amore small snifter, beautiful snifters, and these were given to me. I have 4 of them, and I might get more, but I have 4. And then I'll mix them up really good so I don't look. So we'll pour the Club 400. It's aged 3 years, okay? 3-year aged. I'd like to have a glass bottle. It's probably, I don't know what it costs in Maryland, maybe $9.99 for the 750. Okay. My experience with this so far was positive. So there's MD with a crown and 2 maybe not unicorns. No, just 2 horses with long tongues on either side, trying to make it look like a British crest. You know, because Maryland was a British colony and all of this business. And that will take us into Lord Calvert when we get to that one day. It's a nice looking label. You know, it looks like some old parchment. You know, it's so special. It's so exquisite. You understand? And then we've got Albertsons American blended whiskey. The bottle looks like from 1939. Look like they hadn't changed the label since 1939. Brown, gold, and white. Do you know when the Denver Broncos started, that was their colors? Brown, gold, and white. Because they got some leftover uniforms from some college all-star game. That's how cash poor the American Football League was in 1960. And they wore those brown, gold, and white uniforms for 2 years, 60 and 61. And they even had these vertically striped socks, you know, stockings on the leg. Look like people say clown shoes. But to me, they were kind of colorful and attractive. But okay, enough of that. But the Albertsons American Blended Whiskey, they're trying to make this look kind of like an old label too. And it says matured in American oak. These are both 80 proof. This one's aged 4 years though. Talking about the straight whiskey in there. A minimum of 4 years. It may be longer. It's not colored, okay? That's natural coloring from the wood. They can color blended whiskey. Oh yeah, but it's got to say coloring added, but they don't say that. I think we'll notice that the Club 400 is much lighter. And the Albertsons was $4.99 plus tax at Albertsons in Baton Rouge. What did it come out after tax? It was $5.38, I think, something like that. Let me check this out. Yeah, the Club 400 is darker. I mean, it's not way darker, but it's darker. It's more amber, and this one's more gold. It's clearly darker. Clearly darker. Okay. Man, I'd love to go on a tour of that bottling plant, rectifying plant, blending plant in Maryland, Baltimore County, Maryland. I just know they wouldn't give a tour. But maybe I should tell them, do you know who I am? I'm Mo Green. Mo Green. I mean to say, I'm Louisiana Beer Reviews. Louisiana Beer Reviews. You have to let me tour your plant. Maybe they would. You never know unless you ask, right? I asked Taylor Wine, do you give tours? And they said, no. This is a production facility only. I was disappointed. I said, heck. John Mulcairn says, hello, Ron. How are you? I'm fine. I'm enjoying the weather. It's very, it's very humid. And it's warm. It's 83 degrees. It's sticky, what do they call that? It's very, there's a word people use, muggy. But I'm so used to that. I'm more used to that than the dry weather. The dry weather, it cracks my fingers. I have to use lip balm. It makes me even feel colder when it's not cold. I don't know. Louisiana cold weather is not good. Not good. The warm weather is not bad. I even go walking sometimes when it's really, really hot in the summer, and then the humidity will sometimes drop for some odd reason. But anyway, we'll get off of that. But I'm very good. I'm very good, John Mulcairn. Okay, let's mix these up. I was talking to a viewer a few days ago, and he said, well, he worked for a company in Arizona years ago, and they used to blend and bottle whiskeys and gin and rum and bourbon. And the Albertsons may have a bourbon. I know they have a gin. It's a green and silver and white. Maybe it's green and gold and white. I've seen it. I never bought it. I should buy it, but I'm too backstocked. He said they would do that for Albertsons in 1972. We're talking about 48 years ago. He said, but it was kind of a small company, and he said he thinks now it makes sense that it's a huge company that's doing it for Albertsons, meaning Sazerac, because they have to get a lot of product in the stores. And there are a lot of private label brands in the Albertsons store. Albertsons is a fascinating store. I mean, their beer prices aren't too good, honestly, but their liquor prices are. And the one in Hammond, and all of them are different, like they carry different stuff. But the one in Hammond on Highway 190 eastbound, it's like, wow, you go in there and this liquor selection is incredible. I mean, it's just off the chain. And you just say, oh, look at all this stuff. And they have all these weird private label brands, these D.W. Anders, and then they got this new bourbon that came in. It's like $15.99. You know it's not some real brand because you never heard of it. And then you look at it, and it's got some name like the Founders Company or IWC Distilling, whatever they're saying. You know it's Sazerac. And then they got the Albertsons whiskey, so I couldn't resist. And they got the D.W. Anders brandy, and sometimes you'll find Albertsons brandy, and they do not taste the same. Let me repeat, they do not taste the same. They are not the same. The Anders, I have a strong suspicion that D.W. Anders is a rebottle, a rebadge of Hartley brandy. You know, like a Oldsmobile Forenza. You know how the Forenza was a rebadge of the Cavalier? I just toured Yingling. It was a very nice tour. You went to the one in Pennsylvania or the one in Tampa, Florida? Okay. Let's do. I cannot look. If I look, I'm going to tell them apart because the Albertsons was so clearly darker. Okay. I'm taking my glasses off. I only need those for when I want to see things. All right. Okay. My friend says, smell like corn whiskey. Then he says, smell like rubbing alcohol. It does smell like disinfectant. Like you could pour that on your leg if you cut yourself. It'd probably work. Kind of smells like a doctor's office. You know what I mean? Let's go over here. Kind of smells the same, but there's a little. Now let's keep in mind, I was totally wrong this morning, and I mean totally wrong. I thought the Carstairs was the Albertsons, and I thought the Albertsons was the Carstairs, and I was talking about, oh, the Carstairs. It tastes like it's got sourdough whiskey. It must have sourdough bread. It must be sourdough whiskey, and Carstairs must be they must be using ancient age bourbon in it. Oh, I went on and on and on, and then I got it mixed up, so I didn't know what I was talking about. Okay. Yeah. Smells like strong alcohol. It smells almost the same, but it seems to be a little peppery, a little more peppery. Okay, well, all right. Let's go with the taste test here, people. No whiskey tomorrow. Oh, what am I saying? Yes, I am going to drink some of that Redemption High Rye tomorrow. I got to drink that down. No whiskey Friday. I knew I had it a little mixed up. Sorry about that. And none Saturday and none Sunday. Well, Sunday will be for Monday. None Monday. Well, you're not interested in that, how I quota this stuff. I do quota it. It is ration, believe me. It's a schedule I make. Don't you make a drinking schedule? Because I literally do. I mean, a tasting, drinking. I don't know how I said such a word. I meant to say a tasting schedule. I'm tasting right now. I'm hardly drinking it. I'm tasting it. I mean, I'm tasting it. I mean, murmur. We don't want the wrong things to be said. Okay. Okay. Golly gee. All right. Whoa. Okay, the one on the left. Perhaps. Perhaps the one on the left does have more of a rye component, that they're using a relatively higher rye level, ratio, percentage. I mean, that would make me think it's Majestic Distilling's Club 400. Ooh, I can feel it in my throat. Wow. funny. Scratching a chalkboard. I used to do that in class, and the kids didn't like it. Just take my fingernails at the top of the chalkboard and go all the way from the top to the bottom. I used to really like to do that, but they didn't like it. What's up, Runaroo? Says Brick Limbs 1970. What's up? I'm doing a taste challenge, sir. And thank you for joining me. Okay. And it does seem to have a sourdough bread, which could be sour mash. But you know, now to be fair to myself, I was giving myself a hard time this morning because I failed and I got Albertsons mixed up with Carstairs. But who's to say that the Albertsons is not using ancient age 6-year age, you know, the ancient age 10 star, the 6-year age, that sour mash bourbon? Who's to say that? I'm not here to say that. We don't know. It could be. So it could be totally fair that I got them mixed up, right? There is wood. Now they're saying it's aged in American oak. True. But like I told David Sunday before he dumped out my glass, his glass of my liquor, my whiskey, I said, he was saying, I don't taste any wood. And he was getting really angry. Within the context of tasting, not angry for real. And I said, but David, those oak barrels could be 100 years old. They might use them 100 years. It only has to be bourbon in a new barrel. Well, they're not going to throw the barrels away, okay? I mean, you might sell them. People use them for a potter, but they don't do that anymore. They sell them to beer companies and they age beer in them, in wine, the wine companies. But I said, just because they say American oak, it doesn't mean anything. It could be a barrel that's from 1899. I just slammed a bomber of Hangar 24 Iconic Double IPA and almost finished with a bomber of Mission Shipwreck Double IPA. Oh, well, I will say those sound very good. I've never had either. It sounds very good. I would not recommend necessarily drinking a whole lot in one day. It might seem like I'm drinking a whole lot today, but honestly, I'm not, because after 5 o'clock, no, take that back. After about 4 o'clock, I can assure you I won't be drinking anymore today. I will not be. Water, yes. Anything else? No, I will not. And I didn't even start tasting whiskey till 6 o'clock this morning. So boom, how you feel played. I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about the people that want to make me feel bad. Okay, now we're getting to the question at hand instead of trying to stall for time. Which is which? Which one's better? Okay, well, let's do this one first. Which one's better? I'm getting wood here. Whoa. Mr. David, you're going to have to come over here, and if you promise not to dump it out, I'll let you retry it. If you give it a second chance, he'll do it too. All right. But I think this one has more wood, and it's got more spice. Whoa. I think I like this one on the right, maybe your left, a little bit better. Tell Nikki he's got to do things a little bit better. And I think I like it a little bit better. Now, do I like it way better? Like we say on the streets. I like it way better. No, I do not. And before people want to say bad things about me too much, you know, they're over there, they're back home smoking their, you know, they're back home smoking their denobulas and drinking anisetta and eating a dreet, you know, fried pig guts. And I'm over here having to do the taste challenges. So I take a few of them out. They'll all get in line. Hey, Ron, do you like moonshine? Well, that's basically what I'm drinking when you think about it. I'm drinking 80% moonshine and 20% straight whiskey. So I guess I do. Kinda. I'm drinking it. I've never really had, honestly, I've never had moonshine except for one occasion, and that was at Barton 1792 Distillery in Bardstown, Kentucky in May 2017, and they let me try some of the uncut moonshine, the corn distillate, and it will bring you to your knees. And the guy was like, you don't have two different glasses, we're drinking after each other. The girl says, believe me, no germs will ever be transferred on this glass. That's not possible. That's how sterilized it is because of that nearly 200 proof whiskey. I don't know if I like moonshine. You know, moonshine can become bourbon, right? That's what bourbon is. It's aged moonshine, right? All right. And it's cut with water, you know. Hey, oh. So, okay. Boom, boom, boom. All I got to do is a boom, 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 and a zoom, zoom, right? And then I can tell them apart, right? By golly, if I didn't pick up some dried flowers and nectar on that last sip, I swear I did. I'd like to see you review some uncut moonshine. But you wouldn't like to see what I said after I drink too much of it. I might say things that were not filtered and that I might regret later. But maybe I wouldn't. Like Lou Reed said in 1973, right? If only, if only, if only. How does it make you feel when you've been up for 5 straight days? Listen here, babe. All right. I still would like to see that laughing my anatomy off, he says. Okay. Well. I think, I don't know. I can't guess. I mean, I swear I can't tell them apart. I mean, I just like, there's no point in me making a guess. I mean, it would be stupid. I might get it right because it's a 50-50 chance, right? Wow, I flipped a coin. I got heads. Well, that doesn't prove anything. They taste like equal. So which one would I buy? Obviously the one that's cheaper. And in this case, it would almost certainly be Albertsons for $4.99. I mean, this is the truth. These things I say are true. We're all humanary stew if we don't pledge allegiance to the Black Widow. Okay. Oh well, enough of that jocular humor. Albertsons. Holy smokes. Okay. This calls for an emergency tasting regimen. And I don't do this much, but this is emergencies call for emergency behavior. When it's real moonshine, we judge it by how wacky you react afterwards. Laugh out loud. And yeah, well, I get your point. That's what Captain Kirk told Khan, you know, and Khan said, I don't see where you have much choice. And he said, I get your point. All right. Of course, he was setting him up. He felt played when his son said, sir, our shields are dropping. And he said, raise him. And he said, I can't. You didn't know what to do then. He felt played. Okay, well, anyway. He should have stayed in that Chrysler Cordoba and stayed out of the Reliant. That is totally bizarre. Chrysler Cordoba, Reliant, Plymouth Reliant. Wow. I got a lot of thinking to do now. Hold your glass up, bro. I'll cheers you. Cheers. Cheers. Okay, last. I can't see with these glasses. These glasses are from far away. I can't see up close. It's like looking through a microscope. You know what I mean? Like these glasses for seeing outside, like, oh, look, the tree. There's the leaves. There's the roof. But for up close, I don't need glasses. So when I got the glass on, it's like, oh. And the students used to do that to me in high school. Look at this. They say, look at my paper. And they hold. I say, I can't see that. You holding it up 2 inches from my face. How can I see this test paper or this project you did? How about you hold it here? And I was like, oh, that's very pretty. But that's Czech Republic today. It's not Czechoslovakia anymore. You gotta go fix that. I told you use colored pencil, not colored pen, not markers. Why you use marker? I told you pencil. Now you can't erase it. Okay. It has there is a dried flower thing. I don't know, man. This is really rough. Tough. Not rough, tough. Yeah. I think the Club 400 really does have more rye component. But honestly, I just can't tell them apart in a blind. I mean, I can tell them apart now. I'm looking at the label. But in a blind challenge, I just can't do it. I couldn't do it. Albertsons, and like John Anile says, he's fascinated by how Albertsons keeps tripping me up. Yeah, it's like freaking me out. It's knocking me for a loop. I don't mean the alcohol is. The flavor is knocking me for a loop. Now, my friend David, he was like, oh, it tastes like corn whiskey, and he's going on and on, you know. But that made me think because I said, oh, wait, I bought him a bottle. No, I bought him something else. But I bought a bottle of this New England corn whiskey. Okay. A craft whiskey, craft. I'll show it to you real quick. I know I'm going to go. I have another video to do. That's why I got to hurry. So I'm at, do you like Night Train Express? I've never had it. I've seen it. Oh, and there's more than one flavor, right? Because I was at this liquor store on Louisiana Highway 18 in Marrero, bro, on the west bank of the Mississippi River. And I saw Night Train Express, and I saw another brand, a Night Train, and I almost bought it. So they talk over there. Yeah, you live on the West Bank. We buy your mom and them's, we ball and crawfish. But I didn't bring myself to buy it. You know, that good citrus wine made out of probably old rejected oranges. But I'm tempted. I swear I'm tempted to try it because much like Anakin Skywalker, I'm drawn to the dark side of the liquor world. So I bought this New England corn whiskey. And I've never opened it. It was $8.99, if you can believe it, at International Market from Berkshire Mountain Distillers. It's aged in cherry wood, I swear to you, and oak. Handcrafted and bottled by Berkshire Mountain Distillers in Massachusetts. It's distilled from grain. But my friend David said, oh, don't drink it. He sent me a message. Don't drink it. Don't drink it. I said, what are you talking about? He said, it's rancid, it's spoiled. I said, I said, how could it be spoiled? It's 43% alcohol, 86 proof. He said, oh, no, it's spoiled. That's why it's so cheap. Well, so I went to his house. He said, you're killing me, Ron. Laugh out loud. So I went to his house, and he was telling me, over in Jefferson Parish, he said, try it. You're going to see. So I tried it. You know, I said, okay, let me try it. So I tasted it, you know. I said, it's not spoiled. I said, you got to understand they aging it in cherry wood. First of all, cherry wood. It said it had a cherry finish. Secondly, it's corn whiskey. It's not bourbon. It's a whole different animal. And it doesn't even say straight corn whiskey. I got to look back on the Tax and Trade Bureau website, but there's different levels of corn whiskey. This just says corn whiskey. It doesn't say straight. It's dark though. It doesn't say the age. There's no age statement. I guess it's at least 4 years. But he he was really unpleased with it, very displeased with it. So I think his whole repulsion to the Albertsons, and this is just more theory than fact. Ron, try smoking weed with your drink. I don't think so. No. Psychedelics and me, I don't think so. I'll go and put the record player, the stereo on, and I'll play Tomorrow Never Knows by the Beatles. Turn off your mind, relax, and float downstream. There is no, I'll play it, but I ain't, no thanks. All right. But I think his repulsion is to the corn distillate, the corn whiskey. So you've got that he hated. And then you've got this Albertson that is essentially, to a large extent, the same thing in many ways to that Berkshire Mountain item. So I think that could be the root of the problem. You see, he just doesn't like that heavily corn thing. Although he did like the mellow corn, so I have to qualify. He liked that 100 proof mellow corn, because I was over there and I said, "When you want to try some more of that mellow corn?" He said, "That's been gone." I was shocked that a person could drink it that fast, So, but anyway, enough of that jibber jabber. I couldn't tell them apart. Honestly, they taste nearly identical. They're not identical, but they're nearly identical. And they're not trash. Shane Giggy. Hello, good sir. Hello to you, Shane. These are not trash. I'm telling you right now, I will stand by that. When I did the first solo review of Albertsons whiskey, you watched the video. I said, it's got no flavor, no aroma. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. But I said in the video, I said, but very often when I drink these things over time, and I don't know why this is, maybe air hits it, right? It was sealed. I don't know. But something happens. It starts to develop. And I can't explain it, but it does develop. And I'll give you an example right here. Like, look, you can smell corn. Okay. All right. Corn. Yeah. No. But it's very faint. It's not like bourbon where it's like corn grits. Here. Now, this is really bizarre. In this glass, which is the Club 400, there is a very clear and noticeable candy aroma. It's candy sugar. It's, candy. Like you go to the candy aisle, you get candy. It's maybe candy. What do you call that stuff? Candy corn. I don't know, but it's candy. Let me smell the bottle. It might be too far down. And it just tastes like the doctor's office. Smell like the doctor's office. But I'm not picking that up here. So they're not the same, but they are too similar to tell apart. And they are from the same company. Their grain neutral spirits are coming from the same distillery in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. No, they're not blended at the same plant, but they are perplexing. And I'm not going to sit here and try to just guess something just for the sake of guessing it and say, look, I got it right, or no, I didn't get it right. There's no sense to that. There's no purpose to that. In my booklet, in my brochure. So the cut and dry of all of this is that I don't think there's an appreciable difference between Club 400 and the Albertsons American whiskey. Would I recommend buying both? I certainly would, because either way it goes, you're not spending a whole lot. And there is flavor and there is character and there's something to them. I wouldn't go search for them. But I would buy them. I bought them, right? So we're going to end this. Bricks Lens says, hey, Ron, what's more complex, whiskey or beer? Tie. They're both complex. Equally, I think. They're both complex. And I like them both. I had somebody tell me, oh, you're giving up whiskey, huh? I mean, you're giving up beer to do whiskey and wine. And I said, no. I started doing wine reviews in 2011. You understand? okay, I was married to beer, and now I'm going to get another wife. I'm like the Old Testament. I'm going to have this wife, beer, and then I'm going to have this other wife, wine, and then I'm going to have another wife, whiskey. And then, like they said in the old days, the kings, like King Asa or King Solomon, they had concubines, which they said were lesser wives. They weren't just shack up, you know, shack ups, as we say on the streets. They were concubines, wives of a lesser degree. So I have many liquor wives. Wives of the first order, beer, wine, and liquor, and wives of a lesser degree. And let's look at it that way. And if we look at it that way, it'll make a lot of sense. All right. Okay. Get ready, because I got another hangout coming, and you are going to be shocked, stunned, surprised, and even more. And even more. Believe you me, believe me you. Thank you for watching this. I mean, you'll agree with this. It was incredible. An incredible video production. Well, maybe it was just entertaining. I don't know. That's not the best aesthetic, right? Comic book boxes. But if you looked in the boxes, you might change your opinion, because what's in the boxes, the gold is inside. All right. Thank you.